They say haunted houses make noises at night, but this one did something worse. It called my name, and it had never heard it before. I never believed in haunted places. Old houses creak, wind whistles through broken windows, and fear fills the gaps our minds can't explain. That's what I told myself when I agreed to stay one night in Ravencrest Manor. The mansion stood alone at the edge of town, hidden behind dead trees and iron gates that no one bothered to lock anymore. Locals avoided it, not because of ghosts, but because people who went inside never stayed long. They left shaken, pale, and quiet. Some never spoke about what they saw. I thought they were exaggerating. I was wrong. The moment I stepped inside, the air felt heavy, like the house was holding its breath. Dust coated the floor, yet the furniture looked recently disturbed, as if someone had been sitting there just minutes ago. The door slammed shut behind me, not violently, just firm enough to let me know the house had noticed me. I laughed it off and turned on my flashlight. That's when I saw the portraits. Dozens of them lined the walls of the main hallway. Men, women, children, all painted in dark tones, their eyes following me no matter where I moved. Some faces looked terrified, others looked relieved. At the end of the hall hung an empty frame. No painting, just a blank space, waiting. I felt a strange chill, but kept walking. The house was silent, too silent. No insects, no wind, no distant sounds from the town, just my footsteps and my breathing. Every room I entered smelled faintly of old paper and something metallic, like rust. Then I heard it. A whisper, soft, curious. "Hello?" I froze. It sounded like it came from right behind me, but when I turned, the hallway was empty. I told myself it was my imagination, nerves playing tricks on me. That's when the lights went out. My flashlight flickered, then died. Darkness swallowed the mansion, and in that darkness, someone laughed. It wasn't loud, it wasn't aggressive, it sounded pleased. I rushed toward the door, my hands shaking, only to find it wouldn't open. The handle twisted freely, useless. I slammed my shoulder into it again and again, but the door didn't move. Behind me, footsteps echoed. Slow, measured, coming closer. I ran. The staircase creaked under my weight as I climbed to the second floor, my heart pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. Doors lined the corridor above, all slightly open, as if inviting me in. From one of the rooms, a voice whispered again. This time, it said my name. Perfectly. I had never said it out loud. My chest tightened. "Hello?" I asked, my voice barely working. Silence. Then the door at the end of the hallway slowly closed, by itself. I backed away, only to feel something brush my arm. Ice cold. I screamed and spun around, but nothing was there. The house felt closer now, tighter. The walls seemed to lean inward, the ceiling lower than before. Every step I took echoed longer than it should have, like the mansion was repeating my movements. I ducked into the nearest room and slammed the door shut. Inside was a bedroom, untouched by time. The bed was neatly made, toys sat on the floor, a child's room. On the wall hung a drawing. It showed the house and a stick figure standing inside. Underneath it, written in shaky handwriting, were the words, "It won't let me leave." My breathing became shallow. I turned to leave, but the door wouldn't open. Behind me, the toys began to move. Not fast, not violently. They turned, slowly, toward me. A music box started playing on its own. That's when I realized something horrifying. The house wasn't haunted by one ghost. It was haunted by everyone who had ever stayed too long.
The walls began to whisper, hundreds of voices overlapping, crying, begging, laughing. Faces pushed out from the wallpaper like they were trapped beneath the surface, mouths open in silent screams. I covered my ears and dropped to my knees. "I'll leave," I shouted. "I promise." The whispers stopped instantly. The room grew calm, too calm. A soft voice spoke right next to my ear. "You already belong here." The floor beneath me gave way. I fell. When I woke up, I was standing in the main hallway again. The front door was wide open. Sunlight streamed in, warm and normal. The house looked old, dusty, harmless. Relieved, I ran outside without looking back. I didn't stop running until I reached town. People stared at me like they'd seen a ghost. One woman grabbed my arm and whispered, "You came out?" I nodded, confused. Her face went pale. "That's impossible." That night, I tried to sleep. I told myself it was over, just fear, just imagination. Then I noticed something. My reflection in the mirror didn't move when I did. It smiled, slowly. Behind me, the wall began to change. Paint darkened, the air grew heavy, and on my bedroom wall, an empty frame appeared, waiting. They say Ravencrest Manor is still standing, still watching, still learning names, and if it ever learns yours, it never forgets.
Everyone warned me not to enter the mansion at 3:17 a.m. Not because of ghosts, but because time stops there, and sometimes it never gives people back. The mansion sat at the edge of the old highway, hidden behind overgrown vines and a rusted gate that leaned like it was tired of standing. There was no name on the property, no record in the town archives. People just called it the Still House. Locals said anyone who entered felt like they were gone for hours, but when they came out, only minutes had passed. Some people never came out at all. I didn't believe the stories until my car broke down right in front of the gate at exactly 3:16 a.m. The engine died, the radio cut to static, my phone froze at 3:16 and refused to change. Then the mansion lights turned on, every single window at once. I checked my watch as I stepped inside the gate. 3:17 a.m. The front door of the mansion was already open. The moment I crossed the threshold, my ears popped like when you change altitude too fast. The air inside felt thick and cold, like it hadn't moved in years. The door closed behind me on its own, but not violently, almost politely. I noticed something strange right away. There were clocks everywhere, on the walls, on tables, hanging from chandeliers, even built into the floor. Every single one showed the same time, 3:17 a.m. I laughed nervously and walked deeper inside, calling out to see if anyone was there. My voice echoed too long, stretching unnaturally, like the house was replaying it back slower than it should. Then I heard footsteps above me, slow, heavy, unhurried. I called out again, no answer. The staircase creaked as I climbed. Each step felt delayed, like my foot touched the stair before I actually felt it. At the top, a long hallway stretched out, lined with doors, every one slightly open. From inside one room, I heard a whisper. Not words, just breathing. I pushed the door open.
The room was filled with furniture covered in white sheets. A grandfather clock stood in the corner, taller than the others, its face cracked. It was the only clock in the mansion that was ticking. Each tick sounded louder than it should have. I stepped closer. The time on it wasn't 3:17. It was counting backwards. 3:16, 3:15. My chest tightened. Behind me, the door slammed shut. The ticking stopped. I turned around slowly. Someone was standing in the corner of the room. A man, pale, still, wearing clothes that looked decades old. He stared at me with wide, desperate eyes. "Don't move," he whispered. "If it notices you noticing time, it keeps you." I asked him how long he'd been there. He smiled weakly. "I came in yesterday." Then he started crying. I realized his clothes were covered in dust, years' worth of it. Suddenly, all the clocks in the mansion began ticking at once. The sound was deafening. The walls vibrated. The lights flickered. Doors slammed open and shut up and down the hallway. The man screamed and ran past me, disappearing into the corridor. I chased him, but the hallway seemed longer than before, endless, twisting. Portraits appeared on the walls where there were none before. Every painting showed people standing inside the mansion, frozen, eyes wide, mouths open, all staring at a clock. I reached a large room at the end of the hall, the ballroom. In the center stood a massive clock tower built into the floor, its gears exposed and turning slowly. Shadows moved inside it, human shapes trapped between the mechanisms. Above it, carved on the wall, were the words, "Time is the price." The man was there, kneeling by the clock. He looked older now, wrinkled, weak. "I stayed too long," he whispered. "I tried to leave when the time changed." I checked my phone again, still frozen, 3:17 a.m. Then I felt it. The mansion wasn't haunted, it was feeding. Every second you noticed time passing, it took a little more of you. Your youth, your strength, your memory. I ran. The mansion fought back. Hallways twisted, stairs collapsed, doors led to rooms I had already been in, but everything inside looked older, rotting, forgotten. I finally saw the front door. The clocks began screaming. My watch started spinning wildly. I threw myself outside. The gate slammed shut behind me. I collapsed on the ground, gasping. My phone buzzed. 3:18 a.m. Just 1 minute had passed. I drove straight home, but the next morning, something was wrong. My reflection looked older. Not much, just enough to notice. And every night since then, at exactly 3:17 a.m., I hear ticking in my walls. My clocks stop working, and somewhere far away, I swear I hear a door opening. They say the mansion still stands, still waiting, because time doesn't haunt that house, it owns it.
People called it Graywell House, a mansion hidden behind fog-covered hills, abandoned for decades. No deaths were officially recorded there, no murders, no suicides. Yet everyone agreed on one thing. Anyone who stayed inside too long came out different. I went there to film content for my channel. Just one night. No sleeping, just exploration. The mansion looked ordinary at first. Cracked walls, broken windows, vines crawling up stone like veins.
The front door was unlocked, as if it expected me. The moment I stepped inside, the air felt wrong. Not cold, not warm, just empty, like something had been removed. The foyer was massive, with a staircase splitting in two. Mirrors covered the walls, dozens of them, but none of them showed my reflection clearly. Every mirror was slightly delayed. When I raised my hand, my reflection followed a second too late. I laughed nervously and told myself it was just old glass. That's when I heard footsteps upstairs. Not running, not sneaking, walking. I called out, no answer. As I moved through the house, I noticed something unsettling. The rooms looked lived in. Fresh footprints in dust, chairs pulled back, a cup of water on a table, still clear. Then I found a guest book. Names filled every page, but something was wrong. Each name appeared twice. Same handwriting, same date. One written darker, one faint, fading. As I read, a whisper came from behind me. "Which one are you?" I spun around. Nothing. My phone buzzed, a notification from my own number. "You shouldn't be here." My chest tightened. I ran upstairs. At the end of the hallway was a bedroom with the door wide open. Inside was a mirror taller than the ceiling, framed in black wood. This one reflected me perfectly, too perfectly. It smiled when I didn't. I stepped back. The reflection stepped forward. I tried to scream, but my reflection placed a finger over its lips. Then it stepped out of the mirror. The pain was unreal, like my thoughts were being pulled out of my head, memories slipping. My name felt distant. The thing that looked like me whispered, "Graywell doesn't kill, it replaces." I woke up on the front steps at sunrise. The mansion stood silent behind me. I checked my phone. My gallery was full of videos I didn't remember recording, messages sent that I didn't type. When I looked into the phone camera, I blinked. The reflection blinked late. That night, my channel uploaded a new video. The title was, "I Finally Found a Place I Belong." I don't remember posting it, but I remember the mirror. And sometimes I catch myself smiling when I'm not trying to.